You dreamt you were in bed with someone?
Not exactly. I was in bed, but there wasn't another person in my dream. It was more like a presence.
You said you felt a touch.
A pair of hands. They were moving across my skin. And there was a voice, a man. He whispered my name. It was as if I knew him, or more like he knew me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fully Functional, TNG Podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yep.
Jeff and I are veteran Trekkies, and Dory is a newly minted full Trekkie, and we are taking her through her first journey through Star Trek: The Next Generation. Today we're discussing the episode Sub Rosa, original air date January 29th, 1994. And just before we get started, I want to give a content warning for this episode. There will be discussions of non-consent and questionable consent within the context of the romance literary genre and the tropes within that genre. So with that being said, we'll take it to Dory for the recap.
Okay, so... okay. We start off, we're in a cemetery. It's a funeral. Dr. C's grandmother, Felisa Howard, has died. We learn that she was also a healer, which is very nice. Troy and Picard are also attending the funeral. They are in some real fancy finest. And
yeah, they're in their like formal uniforms.
And
dress
so
uniforms.
people, yeah, it looks great. There's a lot of sparkles on it. So people are dropping the dirt onto the coffin, and someone drops the fakest flower I've ever seen. And that's really quite the thing, because I exclusively own fake plants and fake flowers, as I am a notorious plant killer. And I was like, that's upsetting even for me.
Yeah.
And I've seen some shitty fake flowers. So Dr. C then looks after the guy who dropped the flower, and he has a bob with really good volume. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And this her seeing him kind of like set something off in her. Like I don't know. She's like, huh, okay. And then she asks Troy if she noticed a strange man, and then proceeds to describe maybe the most generic looking man I've ever heard in my life. So,
Yep.
Sure. And
Like, hey, did you see just a guy?
yeah. Did you see a human man? Yeah. Like, that's great. So he threw the flower he threw was a camellia, which was Nana's favorite flower. So this must be personal. So Dr. C has more stuff to do at her grandmother's house. So she's like, do you want to come with me? And then they leave Picard at the cemetery with a guy we later learn is the governor of the colony. I don't think we ever learn his name. We just know him as the governor.
Yeah, I think they probably say it, but it does not matter.
Okay, so the governor is like, oh, our systems in the colony are really old. Maybe an engineer could maybe look and do some upgrades, and in return, we'll take you on a tour and give you a home-cooked meal. I'm like, that is a grossly unbalanced offer.
Yeah.
And like, but Picard's like, sure, I'd love a fucking tour.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's getting the home-cooked meal? How many people are going to be involved in this? How many people are getting the home-cooked meal? How many people are going to go on this tour? You got to set up shifts for this tour? I'm like, I fear the governor has not thought this through.
Yeah, and it's like the way the dialogue and the way it's acted is very awkward too.
Also, something that bothered me about this, and okay, this is that they were scheduled to go to a starbase the very next day, and Picard's like, it's cool, we can push this off for a few days. I'm like, what if someone was supposed to meet someone at the starbase? What if this plan of being at the starbase, like, there's over 1,000 people on the fucking Enterprise. What if people were supposed to be meeting at this starbase? What if something was being delivered on the starbase? I'm like, Picard.
Dory, this is clearly one of those episodes where the ship only has 20 people on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, of course.
But also, okay, so I just want to preface that I 100% completely agree with you, Dory. That being said, when you're in, like, the military or this military-esque organization, your orders changing, like, last minute is fairly common. So, like, if you're in Starfleet, you're probably just used to, like, last-minute changes like this.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
I still don't like it.
Neither do I.
So, okay. Picard is actually very jazzed.
At least it's like a fairly noble cause. It's like helping this like making sure their weather system isn't like...
Yes, and initially I thought with this guy, I thought he was like, oh, I don't feel good about this. He's fine. The governor's fine.
Yeah.
The governor's quite nice. He just kind of dresses weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He dresses in tweed. Mm-hmm. So much tweed in this episode. Yeah. So Picard is pretty jazzed for this tour. He's like, oh yeah, I feel as if we're in the Scottish Highlands. And they're like, yeah, that's what we were going for. That's pretty much it. Yeah, you nailed it, Picard.
I actually really enjoy that conversation because the governor is like, oh yeah, well that's exactly what we were going for. And to prove it, we took all of these stones from buildings in and then list a bunch of cities in Scotland that are not in the Scottish Highlands. And I'm like,
yeah,
Good
that's
job,
right. Yeah,
guys.
because he listed Glasgow, Aberdeen,
Exactly.
and Edinburgh. So it's like,
those are in Scotland, but they're not in the Highlands.
Yeah, it's almost like by Scottish Highlands, he just means Scotland in general. And I'm like,
Scotland.
It's a big enough place that the actual like terrain changes, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we got faux Scotland. So okay, Troy and Dr. C enter Nana's house. It's cute. Mm-hmm. And Troy points out that like Nana had really beautiful green. She's looking at a photo of Nana and she's like, oh, she's got like beautiful green eyes. And Dr. C's like, yeah, all the Howard women have those eyes except for me. And well, we also learned that Dr. C's mom died when she was young, which like was news and very sad. And I immediately thought, oh, okay, well, you're only going to point out the eyes if it's significant to the plot. Mm-hmm. So I thought they were going to be like, oh, Dr. C and her mom are not actually related to the Howard family because they didn't have green eyes. That's where I thought we were going with this. We were not. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then we meet what I have written numerous times in my note, the Howard family eternal flame TM. And it's just basically like a fancy sort of candle holder thing with a candle with the flame's always there. Yeah. And Dr. C plans to bring it aboard the Enterprise. It's like a family heirloom. And so Troy decides to give Dr. C some space, so she exits the cottage and okay, this to me, she walks out of the cottage instead of being like, hey, transport up. Mm-hmm. But I was like, she exited so the show could save some money on the CGI.
Probably, yeah.
Or effects. Yeah.
I guess you could argue that she was just going to like have a walk or go talk to Picard or some other shit, but yeah,
that's true. Funny. But I like to think that she just the way she exited, I was like, oh, okay. So Dr. C starts going through some books on this table beside her, this armchair, and she finds Nana's journals. And Dr. C takes the journals and a blanket upstairs right as this man enters the cottage. He leaves the door wide fucking open. And then, then he blows out the Howard family eternal candle TM. Mm-hmm. And immediately Dr. C obviously comes down for this commotion. And she's like, what the hell are you doing here? Get the hell out of my house. And I cannot tell you how much I hated this man.
Oh, yeah.
He does the exact thing that is one of my biggest pet peeves because as we have already discussed on this podcast, I read a lot of romance novels. Mm-hmm. And this man did one of the peak things that I fucking hate. That is, I don't know necessarily a trope in romance novels, but it happens all the fucking time. This man busts in. He tells her she's done nothing other than be completely reasonable of this man who has busted in to this house.
This stranger.
Doesn't knock. He just busts in, blows out the candle, TM. And he's like, tells her to not be so high and mighty with him. And I'm like, she wasn't. You're literally a stranger who busted into her house. You've literally no right to be there.
Yeah.
So,
stealing her family heirloom.
Yeah.
And then he gives her very little information.
Yes, he gives her basically no information, but he also, for some reason, he's like, oh, I've spent more time in this house in the last 5 years than you have in 20. I'm like, so it's still not your fucking house. Get the fuck out. Yeah. And we learn his name is, I did come up with a nickname for this. It's not very, it's not clever. It's just, I was angry. So his name is Ned Quint, and I kept calling him Ned Cunt.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible. I'll just call him Crazy Neddy.
Yeah, I was angry. But I wrote, but beside every time I wrote it, I wrote in brackets derogatory. So I will refer to him as Ned because I think you can only hear the word cunt so many times without it being like, okay, we get it.
Yeah. And like in classic like horror movie fashion, like we learn that the crazy guy is right. But if you really wanted to like protect her and stuff like that, come to her friendly and then maybe sneakily take the candle. Don't just like, he doesn't even try to sneak in. He slams the door open.
He just busts in. And so he introduces himself. He took care of the house and Nana's affairs. And she's like, who the fuck are you still? Yeah. And he's like, that candle is cursed and it's bad luck. And I just wrote, I hate this guy. And then this is a quote from Ned. He goes, now, if you have a lick of sense, you'll listen to me right now. Do away with it. Now give it to me. Regarding this is he wants the candle. And this bitch, he enters this home he does not own, is an asshole to Dr. C, and then rudely tells her what to do. He's like, if you have a lick of sense, shut the fuck up, Ned. Go rot. I mean, literally, figuratively, every way. I get my wish, by the way. Sorry, spoilers. So she's like, this is a family heirloom. She's keeping it. And then Dr. C basically tells him, get the fuck out. And then she pushes the door closed. But then she's standing and then like pushes it, like not like actively, but she stands in one thing and then pushes with her arm. And then he fucking comes back in. He pushes the door back. Yeah. And he's like, I'm washing my hands of all this. And everyone, I'm like, good. Get the fuck out, Ned. Go away. Yeah. So back on the Enterprise, Data is going over the weather system status with the governor. And Geordi is like, oh, there's a power fluctuation in the weather control systems. And Data suggests they analyze the planet's weather patterns to see if they've been affected. Data finds unusually high humidity across the entire southern desert region, and there's increasing cloud activity around the northern coastal area, possibly the formation of a storm system. Oh no, not a storm. These are very unusual conditions for them. So back, we're still in the Enterprise. So Dr. C is walking down the hall with Picard, and we learn from the journal a bit of a plot twist. So Dr. C says, you won't believe what I've been reading in my grandmother's journals. You know, she had a lover? Do you believe that? Nana was 100 years old. And then Picard says, it would seem that the Howard women have exceptionally vigorous libidos. And then Dr. C
was that a dig at her?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it was like a half flirt, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, honestly, who knows at this point? So then Dr. C says, I certainly hope so. After all, I hope I can find a handsome young man in his 30s when I've passed the century mark. And then Picard goes, 30s? His face when he says that is so good. And she says, yes, according to those journals, his name is Ronan, and he's 34 years old. They met just after my great-grandmother's death, and I think I saw him at the funeral. A handsome young man tossed a camellia onto her grave. But the strange thing is, she never mentioned him in her letters. Never once, and yet it appears they spent almost all their time together. It's as if she led an entire life that I knew nothing about. And the book, I think she like walks away, and then Picard again goes, 30s?
Yeah. And he does like this like really funny, like wide-eyed, like, ooh, like sort of face.
Yeah.
Too.
He's like, but I'm not in my 30s. Oh, Picard. Okay, so they're going to be in the colony for a few more days. Dr. C needs like a bit more time to get her grandmother's affairs in order. And then she falls asleep in her room in the Enterprise while reading the journals. And the Howard family eternal candle, TM, flickers. Dr. C's then her bed covers start like moving on its own, and like the neckline of her nightgown also is moved, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
And then we hear a man's voice whisper, Beverly, and then Dr. C wakes up, and it's like, oh God. And then so she then recounts her experience to Troy, and Dr. C's like, oh, I felt a presence. She felt hands on her. A voice sounded as if she knew him, or that he knew her, and he knew exactly how she likes to be touched. And
it's important to note she's relaying this as if she's into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, it was the most physical dream she's ever had. And she tells Troy that she was turned on, and Troy is like, wow, I'm jelly. And I'm like, please don't be jelly. Please don't enjoy any of this. This feels very bad.
Because she also says, I was like, it was a dream. Like I fell asleep, reading a particularly erotic like portion of my grandmother's journal.
Yeah.
And she said she was very detailed in her describing the encounters. I'm like, okay, I understand being like open-minded and stuff, but no way am I reading my grandmother's sex journal.
Yeah,
like,
literally
I'm skipping that.
There's so much of this episode I felt uncomfortable watching.
Yeah.
I would like to point something out, though. The way that sexuality is dealt with in this episode would be kind of unheard of for, like, a regular-ass TV show in the 90s. The fact that it's like getting away with putting this stuff on screen, and like they're clearly trying to skirt the line against censorship as much as they can. Like this was the height of what's it called, of like the political correctness, the kind of war against media.
Yeah.
Well, I would have liked them not to do this.
Yeah.
This is one at one time I'm like, yeah, actually please censor them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I did not like this. So then Troy's like, should we get back to discussing these personnel reports? Another thing that maybe they shouldn't be doing in a room full of their coworkers.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys, why are you discussing all this shit in this room? And then wanting to do personnel reports again with a bunch of people in this room. And Troy's like, Dr. C's like, maybe I'll have a dream tonight. And I just wrote, I hope not. I hope not. So then Dr. C goes back to the colony, and she goes to Nana's grave, and Ned is there. She apologizes to him for reasons I will never understand.
Yeah.
And she's like, if you want, you can stay in the house after I leave. And he's like, hard pass. Also, you shouldn't go back either, because the house is super haunted. And then I wrote, is Ronan a ghost? They ghost fucking. Ned also says, and so go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know if you remember Dory, but way back when, this episode was actually spoiled for you by the Beaverton.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh,
because they did
I do not remember this at all.
Yeah, they did a joke headline.
Oh,
because
okay.
this is I guess spoilers, but this is infamously known as the episode where Dr. Crusher fucks a ghost.
Okay, because I have listen, bad memory strikes again, this
Good.
time for good.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. So the Beaverton had some headline about, like Beverly Crusher fucking a ghost. And you messaged us saying, like, I did not think that I would have TNG spoiled for me by the Beaverton.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, wild. Okay, so Ned says to not light the candle because that's essentially how the ghost is summoned. The ghost is angry and is causing the bad weather. And Ned is like, believe whatever you want, but just listen to me and don't light the candle and don't go back to the house. And then he walks away and there's like a very dramatic thunder and lightning. And Dr. C turns back to the grave and it is covered in flowers. Mm-hmm. And then we see there is a huge thunderstorm building over the colony. And back on the Enterprise, Data and Geordi are like, oh yeah, that's pretty weird. Maybe we can send some power to the colony for the weather systems to stabilize the storm. So back on the colony, Dr. C enters Nana's house and there's like flowers all over the place.
Yeah.
And I wrote, I hope Dr. C doesn't fuck her grandmother's ghost boyfriend.
And as we've learned, that was hope was very dashed.
Yep. And then like a mirror on the wall starts to shake. And so Dr. C picks it off the wall and then sees the reflection of a man behind her. And she drops the mirror and it shatters. And then we hear a voice calling out to Dr. C telling her that he loves her. And just like her Nana, he loves her just as he loved her Nana. And I was like, that is red flag city if I've ever heard one. I was like, Dr. C, this would be the right time to be like, hey, beam me up, please. Yeah. let's get the fuck out of Dodge. But Dr. C is like, who is this? But he's like, oh, we kind of hung out last night when I was being weird in your dreams.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, she's like, oh, I thought it was a dream. And he's like, oh, how's this for a dream? And then she starts like shuddering and wiggling. And like, obviously she's like orgasming or some shit. And it's so uncomfortable to
the
watch.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is really unfortunate to watch. And the voice is revealed to be Ronan. And I just wrote, he a horny spirit or what? And so we learned that Ronan was born in 1647 in Glasgow on Earth. But somehow has a transatlantic accent.
Yeah.
So, okay. And Ronan is technically a family heirloom himself because he just keeps falling in love and fucking all the women in Dr. C's family. And now
and
it's her turn up to bat.
Yeah.
Yes. And so then I wrote, she is distressed and horny.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember this because it's been a long time since I've actually sat down and watched this episode. And I did not remember, like, I thought that there was a lot more willingness in this situation. Like, I thought, like, the way I remembered it was, like, she just got, like, really entranced by the journals and, like, there was a lot more actual seduction. But no, it's just creepy ghost man.
So, I have been told by several people, I don't know how accurate this is, Dory, you may know, that a lot of the really gross lack of consent stuff in this episode is unfortunately kind of indicative of the genre that it's so heavily inspired by, which is like trashy romance novels, or rather trashy erotic romance novels. And Jerry Taylor, who wrote it, did flat out say that was very much her inspiration as a fan of trashy romance novels and not apologetic about it at all.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a thing where it's like that's definitely a trope.
Okay.
where it's sort of like very, like in real life, it's like, oh, this is creepy and non-consensual and whatever, but it's like sort of the fantasy of like someone taking charge and someone being so like desperate for you and that sort of thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he's definitely like supposed to be like an incubus sort of thing, like a seduction ghost kind of deal.
He looks like he does look like someone you would see on the cover of a romance novel from like the 80s or
well,
something.
fun fact about that, Dory, he probably looks like somebody who was in soap operas because the actor was literally like a staple of soap operas, apparently. Yeah.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, the romance novel inspo is definitely like very obvious.
And as someone who loves romance novels, I don't like any of the references or anything she used in this. I might have to add Jerry Taylor to my enemies list.
Maggie, do you recognize the actor at all?
The Ronin?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
You would actually recognize him from DS9, oddly enough.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I can't put my finger on where.
He's Shakar.
Oh!
Right?
Yeah.
I never
Okay.
put it together for years because, like, these two characters don't act anything alike.
No.
But,
Yeah, in DS9, he plays, like, a sort of side character that shows up, like, you know,
maybe a half
every so
dozen
often.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Star Trek is infamous for, like, using actors multiple times.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, we already told you about Pulaski being an actress from the original series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me find where I was in my notes. She's distressed and horny. They are becoming one because he's like, we're going to become one. And, I wrote in my notes, I finally understand the warning at the beginning of every episode of TNG on Netflix, because there always says the warning is always sex and fear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This finally makes sense.
Definitely a lot of sex and fear in this one.
Yeah. So back on the Enterprise, Troy pops her head into Dr. C's quarters to see if she wants to go to Makbara class this morning, but Dr. C's like, no thanks, I'm exhausted. And I'm like, so am I, for different reasons. This episode is exhausting.
Yeah.
But immediately Troy is like, oh, you're seeing someone. But Dr. C is like, I'm actually not seeing one because he's a ghost and I literally can't see him. No, I'm kidding. She doesn't say that. As she's like, I'm not really seeing anyone, but I did meet someone.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you? So then this is now, I'll give the conversation between Troy and Dr. C. So Dr. C goes, I met Ronan. And then Troy goes, Ronan, your grandmother's lover? And then Dr. C says, he's unlike anyone I've ever met before. And then I wrote in brackets, because he's a ghost.
Yeah.
And then so she says, I know this sounds crazy, but I've never known anyone who was so, and then Troy goes, passionate. And then Dr. C says, exactly. I can see why Nana fell in love with someone like him. This sounds very strange, doesn't it? And then Troy says, I admit, it's unusual. I'm very happy for you, but I want you to consider something. You and Ronan have both suffered a tremendous loss. Very often, shared traumatic experience can create the illusion of closeness and romance. And then Dr. C says, well, thank you for your concern, but I think I know what I'm doing. Besides, I didn't say I was in love with him. I'm just intrigued.
I genuinely hate how that conversation starts out, because it starts out with Troy acting like very out of character, super gossipy.
Yeah. It is just weird. The like, oh, I can tell you met someone. I can tell that you're seeing someone. You're like, something's going on. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
there's actually
take a sec.
like really, I mean, I guess Troy's an empath, so maybe she could sense something, but she doesn't really say that. She's just like, oh, I know you so well. I can tell you've started seeing someone. Why? Because she's just kind of like
She's kind of
in
aloof.
a dreamy mood. Yeah, like
yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of evidence yet for you to determine that.
Yeah, it feels like she really just pulled that out of her ass for plot reasons.
Yeah.
So now we're in the lift, and the governor says to Picard, "You know, Captain, I moved to this colony because it was a recreation of Scotland, but I must admit it's getting to be a little too realistic." And then he sneezes. So him and the Picard exit into engineering, and Picard says, "What the hell is going on?" And then Data says, "There appears to be a condensed suspension of water vapor approximately 1 degree Celsius." Now Picard goes, "Fog."
Yeah.
And then Riker goes, "It just sort of rolled in on us, sir." So there's like a light sort of layer of fog just in engineering. And I just thought that was
It was
funny.
on the bridge, actually.
The bridge? Oh, I thought it was engineering.
I was pretty sure it's the bridge. Jeff, do you remember that scene?
No, I don't.
With the fog? Okay.
I
mean, it doesn't...
No, sorry, they walk out onto the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, they're on the bridge.
Yeah, but
oh, okay,
it persists a little bit because it starts in the turbo lift, but you don't see it when they're in the turbo lift. You don't see it until they walk onto the bridge, and they don't seem surprised immediately. Like, it takes them a moment.
Yeah, because that's a really
You know what?
fucking weird thing to happen on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what I'm just realizing? I think it was probably the like angle that they shot it at. Mm-hmm. Because like to me, that you see all the panels, so I kept thinking that was engineering.
I see. Yeah. It's not really that important anyway. Like, it's just there's fog on the ship, and that's fucking weird.
Yeah. So there is a malfunction in the Enterprise's environmental control. They've traced the problem to a power transfer beam, and the feedback coming from one of the there's feedback coming from one of the colony's weather substations. The temperature in 10 forward has dropped below freezing. And I honestly, this is such a side thing, but I imagine they want to like keep all their like glasses out to get a little frosty for later.
Yeah.
And Deck 13 has lost gravity. So Picard tells Data to disengage the power transfer, but Data is unable to do so. And a feedback loop has formed in the transfer beam. And so he's going to have to fix the problem from the substation. So he's like, we're going to go down. And but then Geordi and Data are like, okay, so now they're on the station, and Geordi and Data are like, oh, the station is experiencing a system-wide power failure. They're like, Geordi's like, oh, this is impossible. And then they turn and they find Ned fucking around with the primary power conduit. And Data then like pulls Ned away from one of the panels, and then Ned immediately goes to a different panel, and Geordi and Data do not move. They just watch him go to a different panel, pull some shit around, and then he gets like kind of electrocuted or whatever and pushed backwards and down a couple of stairs. And Ned's final words are, "You don't understand, he's trying to kill us all." Rip to Ned, I guess.
Yeah.
Once again, leaving us with no information. He was a dick to the very end.
And like...
and he was withholding to the very end.
Yeah, and the thing is like, it turned out he was right, and he was just trying to, like, save people, but, like, dude, you gotta... I'm not one...
Yep, I'm going to touch on this later.
Yeah, I'm not usually one
after the
for, you know, respectability politics, but you gotta change your approach, dude.
Yeah. This is something that I will talk about later that drives me fucking crazy. Okay, so Dr. C goes to the station, and she says that Ned's cause of death was actually not related to fucking around with the panel. And she's detecting this energy residue through his body down to the cellular level. And Data says the energy residue on Ned was the same anaphasic signature as the problem with the weather system. Whatever caused the weather panel possibly also killed Ned. On the description of that, like on that bit of discussion, honestly made me think of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. I mean,
so
Star Trek is often like not that far off, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, we'll scan the colony, see if there's any other areas that have the same anaphasic signature. And Dr. C wants to take the body back to the ship to run further tests. But not her in particular. She wants someone else to run the tests because she's got somewhere to be. And somewhere to be is Nana's house. So she then asks Ronan about, so he's obviously there, and she asks him about Ned's death, but he's like, oh, there's more important things that we need to focus on. And then she turns around, because she's saying this into the mirror, and then like she turns around or whatever, because his hand like kind of brushes her face towards him. And then I just heard, jump scare, blonde man. Like we've seen him already before, but like the way that this shot is, it truly was like a jump scare for me. So the way like so he has his hand on Dr. C's cheek, and the way she's like pushing her head into his hand makes me think of like every cat or dog where you get to like where you're scratching them in like a good position around their ear, around like their face or something, and they want more and they're just like pushing into your hand. That's what it made me think of. Yeah, Dr. C is being real fucking weird. So he's like, Ronan asks Dr. C to light the candle, and she's like, Ned said that you live in the candle. And he's like, yeah, that's true. I do live in the candle. But if he's away for too long, he begins to weaken. And that's why the Howard women always kept the candle lit for basically for a 17th century booty call.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. But she's like, oh, the candle's actually on the ship. So she'll go get it. But he's like, no, I'll go with you. He can travel through the power transfer beam. And then he kisses her, and it is nauseating to watch.
Yeah.
It is just, that's a jump scare. So Dr. C then rushes back to the ship and lights the candle, and she's like sitting on her bed, so impatiently waiting for him to show up.
Yeah.
And it is honestly painful watching her react like behave like this.
Yeah,
it is like so horrible.
Yeah, because the way she is acting is basically like an addict who's like really jonesing.
Yes.
Like that's sort of
really bad.
How that scene is acted. And yeah, it's very distressing to see, especially like Dr. Crusher of all people acting that way.
Yeah.
Which I think is the point. It's like, oh, this is like so out of character for her. So he's really putting some like weird influence on her.
Yep. So, okay, then he appears and he's like, we're going to be one, or like he's going to be part of her, whatever. And this was the same with all the other women in your family, obviously except for her mom. But he will take care of her and she'll feel love as if she's never felt it before because you're a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
And then he fades to his green mist and kind of, I wrote quote unquote enters her because I wasn't sure how to describe it.
Yeah. Well, basically like she absorbs the green mist into her body.
Absorb is way better than enters.
No,
That's
I think we
my
should
bad.
stick
That's
with
a way
enters
better
her.
way.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't think of anything. So she then like kind of curls up on her bed and
yeah, at least at least silver, tiny silver lining. At least in this scene, she like when she lays on the bed, she doesn't make it overly sexual. She just kind of curls up comfortably.
Yeah.
Which does not happen in a later scene.
I was gonna say, don't worry. There's another scene coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Okay. So then. Now we're following Picard onto the transporter room, and on the platform we have Dr. C wearing maybe the least Dr. C looking outfit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, the weird civilian
so
outfit that looks like the same kind of crap that the governor's wearing.
She kind of looks like.
Well, it's very 18th century peasant and very like.
So she looks like Maria from The Sound of Music at the beginning of Sound of Music when she first goes to see the family. Yeah. Well, no, not in the convent. Like, she just left the convent to see the family, and like the kind of the collar of the jacket, everything like that. Just what it made me think of.
It's like extremely modest and old fashioned.
Yeah, and then she's got some bags, and Picard is like, what the fuck is going on? Well, he says, so Picard says, Beverly, what the hell is this? And then Dr. C says, I thought it was pretty self-explanatory. I'm leaving Starfleet. Energize. And then Picard goes, belay that order. And he's just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
She's like, bye, bitch. I quit. So later days, I'm going to go follow in my grandmother's footsteps and become a healer. And then she just goes, energize. Like, the way she just keeps saying energize so, like, blankly was honestly so funny to me that she just, after every sentence, she's just like, energize. And Picard's like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you doing?
Yeah, this is extremely concerning because this is like a very extreme, like, you're doing a whole 180. It's like you're just abandoning your career without saying anything to anybody. Like, what the fuck?
Yes. Then she's like, well, I've resigned, so unless you plan on kidnapping me. And for the first time in my entire life, I was like, Picard, kidnap her.
Yeah.
I was like encouraging a kidnapping.
Yeah, and it's just like, as like, at minimum, as your friend, I would like to have a discussion about this, like a full conversation about this before you go. Like,
yeah, it's pretty, it's kind of crazy. So she leaves. So Troy and Picard have a conversation in his ready room where he keeps looking at the window. And I was like, yeah, Picard, you're a bitch. So Troy gives Picard kind of the background about what's sort of going on with Dr. C and Ronan. And they may have trauma bonded a little too close to the sun, if you will. And Troy sensed that she wasn't really getting the whole story, and they discuss if like Ronan's influence have made her decide to move to the colony permanently. And they're like, yeah, I guess like it sucks, but she's a grown woman who can make her own choices. Except that's not the current situation.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
because like
Data,
like that is technically true, but the way she delivers that line is basically like, what are you gonna do? You know, she has the right to do that.
like that dusting your hands off. Like, well, that's it.
Because like there have been conversations like this in movies before, and like in real life, because it's like, you know, yeah, like this is, I'm really worried about them, and this seems really bad, and it's like, we can't really stop them, but like we need to figure out something, you know.
Yeah. Data comes in and he says that they've detected an energy residue with the same anaphasic signature that was on Ned's body, and it's coming from the cemetery. So Picard sends Data down to go pinpoint the source, as he says. And then Picard's like, and I would also like to meet Ronan. So Data and Geordi search the graveyard, and obviously the source is Nana's grave. Like, it's like, guys, remember the plot?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's fine. So, but they're like, oh yeah, it's also 2 meters below the surface. I'm like, well, you're in a graveyard. What else do you think is 2 meters under the surface, guys?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so we're now with Dr. C in the cottage. She's hanging out with Ronan. He turns into green mist. Oh, this time I wrote she absorbs him, so I could think of that later. I just didn't think of it earlier when I was taking my notes. The amount of times I also wrote, ugh, it's kind of wild. So Ronan says that he loves her, and she's like, oh, I love him. I love you. And it's all just so unbearable to listen to. And then Picard, like, knocks, no answer. Then he comes in, and she sees Dr. C in the armchair in, like, the nightgown and robe. And I just wrote that she's vibing, because I don't know how else to describe
I mean,
whatever the fuck
That's
is
a good
happening
pun,
in that
vibe.
she just
Vibrating is definitely.
Oh, I thought you said
Probably involved.
vibing.
No, that's what she
I
said.
said vibing.
Vibing, but
Yeah,
vibe comes from vibration.
yeah, sure, I accidentally nailed it
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. That's why I said good
I
fun.
just like
vibration involved.
Yeah. And he's like, I'd love to meet the young man who's been railing your way through your family.
Yeah.
And so Dr. C's like, oh, he's not here right now, but also I'm sensing some jealousy. And then he's like, oh, your eye color changed. And she's like, yeah, I got tired of it. And I was like, oh my God, they pointed at the fucking eye color thing. I'm like, that's obviously, Ronan has his fucking green mist. So obviously when he like is absorbed, I guess, to a certain degree,
it shows up in the eyes.
We'll call them victim.
Yeah,
they become, their eyes turns green because they're like, oh yeah, super distinct green eye color. But Picard's like, well, I like your old eyes. And then
he's like,
this is okay. So I wrote something that I am going to read, but this is, you guys, you both of you are not going to like what I'm about to read out, because this is kind of a reference that I think will only very specific people will find enjoyable. So Dr. C is like that Demi Lovato song from Camp Rock where the lyric is, this is real, this is me, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Excellent.
yeah.
She essentially says that, but Picard is like not standing for this. And then I was trying to think of a Demi Lovato song that maybe I could respond with Picard, but I don't know Demi Lovato's music that well. And I couldn't find anything off the top of my head that would be as a funny retort, but I just was like, Picard's like, no, this is weird as fuck. Like, why are you the only one who can see Ronan?
Yeah.
And then Ronan is just like, surprise, bitch, here I am. And yeah, so he comes down and oh yeah, okay, so then Data and Geordi they call Picard that, oh, the energy, the camera, our shot is in the cottage with Picard, Ronan, and Dr. C, but we hear Data and Geordi, and they're like, oh, the energy residual is coming from Nana's coffin, so they want to exhume her body. But Ronan is way more upset at the idea of exhuming Nana than Dr. C is.
Yeah.
And Picard's like, Data, get permission from the governor. And Ronan is like, I won't stand for this. I'll go to the governor myself. And Picard is like, great, go for it. And Picard is basically like, girl, who even are you?
Yeah.
You have no legal anything to stand on. Like, try, go for it.
And I don't like, not only that, but I don't think anyone knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah. So then Picard starts giving a questionnaire to him, which I wrote down all the questions. Because he's like, who even are you? So Picard says, how did you get here? What ship did you come on? Where have you been living here? What's your position? Who are your neighbors? But this is too many questions for Ronan, and he kind of mists away.
Yeah. Also, just important to note, when he mists away, at that point, before that, Picard had no idea about the ghost aspect. He just thought that he was like a really sketchy guy trying to take advantage of Dr. Crusher. So, like, he has this, like, look of surprise on his face. Like, what the fuck? I thought you were just, like, one of those old lady scammers. I didn't know you were a fucking ghost.
Yeah, so he's like, what the fuck? And he reaches for Dr. C to, like, get the fuck out. But then he gets shocked by the green electricity and falls to the ground. Oh, no. So Dr. C, luckily she brought her equipment with her to the colony. And so she grabs it and is able to use it to help Picard. But Ronan's like, we gotta stop them from exhuming the body. And she's like, I can't let him die.
Yeah.
But then Ronan, tries to materializes to pull her away from Picard, but she's like, yeah, her want to save Picard is stronger. And so then Ronan is like, okay, bye, I'm just gonna go. So then Picard wakes up and he's like, I'm fine, go after him to stop him. And Dr. C then grabs the Howard family eternal candle TM and busts out of there. And so Geordi and Data, this was horrifying. So they get that they're able to, like, I guess, transport the coffin from underground to the ground, and they open it and we see like this little old lady in there, and then the camera goes to her, does like a close up on her face, and then her eyes open and they are like that haunting green color, and she sits up and like does the green electricity thing to Geordi and Data, and they're both like, they're down.
All I could think of when she did that was that stupid fucking Star Wars Episode 9 moment, the somehow Palpatine's returned shit, except now it's somehow Nana returned.
Yeah, it was pretty horrifying. And so then Dr. C is now at the cemetery and she begs Ronan to stop. And just like, now we're in a horror movie. And I hate horror movies. I don't like being scared. And I am now haunted by this fucking episode. And so then Nana says, Beverly, it's all right. Have trust in me. Oh, yeah, because like Ronan is in Nana's body right now. Again. Oh, sorry. That was... I'm sorry. And Dr. C says, you're not Nana. Nana's dead. And then she screams. This is so good. She screams, leave her alone.
Her whole delivery in this scene is amazing.
Is really good. Yeah. I cannot replicate it for a number of reasons. Mostly I can't deliver anything like that. So Ronan then leaves Nana's body and he's like, I had to stop these guys. They were trying to stop us from being together. But Dr. C's like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? You're putting the anaphasic energy into me. And that's the stuff that killed Ned. And so then we get monologue from Dr. C where everything's put into place here. She goes, there's no such thing as a ghost. You are some sort of anaphasic life form. Anaphasic energy is extremely unstable. It needs, okay, I was like, what the fuck did I write? It needs an organic host in order. Okay, I'm really hoping this is attempting at reading my writing. It needs an organic host in order to maintain a molecular cohesion, or else you'll die. Isn't that right? I also scanned the candle. The flame is plasma based. You are using it as a receptacle for yourself in order to get to me, in order to merge with me. You have been using me, Nana, my entire family for centuries. And then Ronan says, and I loved all of them, and they loved me. And it was so gross.
Yeah.
And then he tells Dr. C to put down the candle or he'll kill Geordie. So she places the candle down on like the ground in the cemetery. And she grabs a phaser and then shoots the fucking candle. And now it's gone. And then she calls Riker to close off all plasma conduits in the weather control system. And she's like, I'll explain later. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then she points the phaser at Ronan. And he's like, Beverly. And she's like, go fuck yourself. And she shoots him once. And then he like lunges back at her. And then she shoots him again. And he disappears into mist permanently. Then Dr. C collapses to the ground and is crying, which is like horrible.
Yeah.
So we then learn in Captain's log that Data and Geordie are making a full recovery, but Dr. C is not making a full recovery at the moment. But she will be, because this is personal. Thanks, Picard. So Dr. C and Troy also, again, have picked a public space to talk about their personal problems. And so they go to 10 forward. And Dr. C says, somehow he realized that one of my ancestors had a biochemistry that was compatible with his energy matrix. I imagine he took on a human form and seduced her like he did me. I was about to be initiated into a very unusual relationship. You might call it a family tradition. And we cut to Troy looking absolutely stone-faced. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. And then Dr. C is like, yeah, but still kind of bummed that after reading all the rest of the journals, but he was still nice to Nana, I guess. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
How is that what the takeaway? Is that, well, he was nice to my grandmother.
Yeah,
no, he was fucking possessing your grandmother.
Yeah.
Dr. C, what the fuck? I hated this episode.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with myself with this episode.
Yeah,
I
because they said, like, oh, for everything else, he made her really happy. Like, no, he didn't. She thought she was happy because of the undue influence he was putting on her.
Yeah, this was horrible.
Yeah.
I hated all of this. This episode was fucking struggle to get through.
Yeah, this episode's a lot creepier than I remember it being.
It is gross. I hated it. I am now mad at Jerry Taylor. And I never want to see this episode again. And I hate that now we finally get a Dr. C-centric episode and this is what it is.
Yeah.
What, was Troy busy? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is such a storyline they would give to Troy or some shit also.
Yeah, it also makes me kind of rethink the meme too, because like the meme implies that like, so like what I thought was going to happen in the episode, because like I said, it's been a long time since I've actually watched it, was like you know, one of those horror movie tropes where, you know, dumb white person reads the cursed book or whatever, and that she, like, you know, Dr. C sort of like willingly indulges in this thing, which is not the case. Like,
No,
it's very
not at
clear
all.
from the beginning that she doesn't, like, the first dream thing, she like later is like, you know, when she's describing it, she was like into it or whatever, which is like, okay, fine. But like later on, it's very clear that she's like not really super chill with what's happening, and that he's literally like, basically like, yeah, like possessing her.
Yeah.
Which is not what I thought the episode was gonna be. Like I thought like there was gonna be like some like that he has an influence on her, but I thought there was going to be a lot more like seduction, like where she like, you know, falls into it more. When in the episode, it's a lot more like, no, he just straight up like makes her love him. Weirdly.
Yeah. And here's the thing that kind of made me super angry as well. If Ned took 5 fucking minutes to explain like a normal fucking person, we might have been able to avoid all of
No,
this.
tropes can't
And
do
so
that.
now I'm going to explain what the problem with Ned is. Okay, so there is this thing that happens a lot in romance novels where a man will share a certain extent of information, but the woman will not know what the fuck he's talking about and make decisions based on the information she has. And then later, it's always fucking revealed that the man was right. And it's like, yeah, but how could she have known?
Yeah, 'cause
based on the information
'Cause he's
she
being
has.
vague.
If the man gave her the proper details of what was going on so she could make an informed decision, we would be in lots of very different scenarios. But and then later he gets to be like, well, I was fucking right.
Yeah.
And it's like,
But it's like you
yeah,
gave her
because you
incomplete
didn't fucking
information.
yeah, so that to me was such a thing for Ned, was he busts in, gives her nothing, and then is like, well, you're a fucking idiot if you don't listen to me. It's like, Ned, you fucking gave us nothing, and you think that Dr. C's an idiot who's just gonna follow like whatever you say when you didn't give us anything
So
to
to play
work
devil's
with.
advocate, he might not actually know the details.
But he knew something, and
Yes.
he just
Yeah, he
would
could've-
not take 5 minutes to explain. All he kept saying was, it's haunted, the candle's bad, don't light it. Well, why, bitch? Why not? Like, what is your evidence? Explain where you're coming from. And I feel like Dr. C is an intelligent enough person to be like, oh,
But he's
okay.
not
Yeah,
an
like,
intelligent
even if
enough
you-
person to explain it.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
here's the
but
thing,
that doesn't
even-
matter if his level of intelligence. It's the thing that he's still, he ends up being right in the end, and Dr. C looks foolish. And it's, again, based on, she made decisions
Incomplete
based on the information she had, and he gave her shitty information.
Yeah, because
So
even
Ned, go fuck yourself. I'm glad you're dead. Fucking rot.
Yeah, because even if because Jeff, even if all he knew was that like, oh, like this is cursed or whatever, it's like, well, then describe the curse. It's like, it's cursed. It makes like, you know, your Nana started ignoring everyone and holed up in her cabin and this and this and this. Like, what makes this negative?
Oh no,
All
I
he said
definitely
is that it's a
agree that
curse.
he's completely unreasonable.
Yeah. Because, and even if all, like, in their, like, even if he's just, like, straight up believes in ghosts or whatever, in the first interaction, why didn't you say the, like, oh, it's haunted bit? Like, he didn't even say why the candle was bad. He's just like, it's bad. So in the first meeting, he could have at least...
No, what he said is that the candle has cursed your family for
he
generations.
says that in the second meeting. He doesn't say that in the first one.
No, he said that in the first one.
Does he?
Hold on.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by how blunt he was about what was happening. But obviously, if you are somebody who, like in Dory's case, if you're going into it not knowing anything about it, and of course Dr. C doesn't know anything about it, then it's like, what the fuck is this crazy guy talking
okay,
about?
so
Because that's the thing. He's just presented like a crazy guy.
He said the candle is cursed and is bad luck.
Yeah, so, he says that in the first meeting, but he still doesn't get into the detail that he does in the second meeting, where he says, like, it's haunted and, all this other shit, which is still not great information, but that's still more than he offered up the first time when he broke into her house. Like,
yeah.
Yes, that's true.
All he had to do was knock at the door.
Yeah.
And then she would have come downstairs and been like, oh, hello. And then he could have said, hi, I'm Ned Quint. There's some things you need to know about the house / candle. Mm-hmm. But instead, he's like, he busted in like the fucking Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
Like, take a touch grass, man.
Yeah,
touch grass.
I mean,
you're in the fake Scottish Highlands. There's so much grass. Go touch it, man.
At bare minimum, some subterfuge. Like, even if you're like, oh, she's not going to believe me about the ghosts and stuff, be nice and then sneak the candle away. Like, it's just, it's just really dumb. And I hate the thing of, like, not enough information.
Yep.
Because it is always ends up just being framed like the woman is a fucking idiot.
Yeah. All right, so while we're sort of on the topic of, like, tropes and stuff, like, this was something that I wanted to bring up, like, after, Jeff, you were mentioning, like, that sort of, what's known in sort of, in, like, fanfic and, like, romance circles as, like, dubious consent, it is a trope. It's a very common one. But I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it's very complicated and nuanced. That sort of trope. And there's a lot of shitty people that use the fact that, like, some women enjoy that trope as, like, proof of, like, basically rape culture stuff. Like, oh, see, like, they actually like it, like, blah, 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 women are just lying, sort of stuff. So first of all, the basics. I think everyone knows that there's lots of things that you enjoy in fiction that you would not enjoy in real life. Mm-hmm. Like, just think of any movie where there's, like, a big disaster or whatever. Like, you don't actually want that to happen, but you enjoy the story, right? So... Mm-hmm. A lot of that trope sort of comes from, like, multiple places where there's the fantasy idea of someone desiring you so much, that they just can't help themselves. There's the fantasy of, like, you not having to make any decisions in the relationship, right? In how things go. And adding on to that, because of how society treats female sexuality, there's the freedom in that you can indulge in your sexual desires without it being, quote unquote, your own doing. So you're sort of have this plausible deniability. It's like, oh, well, no, I wasn't the one being sexual. It was like, it wasn't really my choice. Because there's a lot of, like, repression and, like, sort of restrictions on female sexuality. So, like, that can manifest itself in desiring a scenario, like, fictionalized, like, in fantasy, desiring a scenario where it isn't necessarily your choice.
Huh, okay.
To give you... so that it's like you don't have guilt about being sexual, So I just wanted to bring that up because the trope came up. And, like, you, Jeff, it sounded like you were sort of maybe not necessarily surprised that this was a
well,
thing,
I mean,
but, like,
I don't read trashy romance novels, so yeah, I don't know a lot about it. Everything that I know about it, which is why I kind of prefaced it when I started out, was that this was like secondhand info. This is stuff that I've read because I'm in dumb shitposting communities about Star Trek, and obviously Blazin' Bev Crusher being the fucking ghost fucker is like one of the biggest memes in the community and has been for many, many years.
Yeah. but that's why there's that whole genre of what are called bodice rippers.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of like, you get kidnapped by the sexy pirate captain and he uses his sword to like cut open your bodice. That sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to explain why those tropes existed and sort of get into the nuance of it because... And I understand why some people, like, stay far away from that. But I just wanted to get into the nuance of it because I know there's a lot of people that don't understand it and a lot of shitty people that, like, use it to be like, see, women are lying, like, they like it, sort of fucked up shit. And I also want to say that this episode is of its time and they had a very fucked up view of, like, consent and shit in that era. But, like, those kind of tropes I don't think are appropriate for a show like Star Trek to explore.
Right.
Like, I think that's like, there's a time and place for that, and I don't think, like, sort of, I don't think it's a random episode of Star Trek is a great place to explore those ideas.
Regarding that thought, actually, I would like to point out that Jerry Taylor, who wrote this episode, and I've mentioned her before, she's been responsible for some good stuff in Star Trek, but as her career continues in Star Trek, we get to her tenure on Voyager, in which she once again attempted to rope in lots of weird stuff that she was into. And Maggie, do you remember the what do you call it? There was this thing for a few episodes where Janeway was like obsessed with like a Victorian holo novel or something like that, and she kept
delete the wife.
Yeah. That was Jerry Taylor.
Jesus.
Yeah. Since we're probably if we ever do get to Voyager, it'll probably be like 5 years from now, so I feel comfortable telling you this story. But yeah, she basically, they set up this holodeck program that's like a little Irish village that, like, they just keep running and people can go in and out of. And Janeway sort of falls for one of the hologram guys in there, but he has a wife. So there's a dramatic scene.
Oh no.
There's a dramatic scene where she's addressing the computer and she's like, "Computer, delete the wife."
the Irish village actually isn't what I was referencing. I think this is in like the first 2 seasons. There is a Victorian holo novel that Janeway keeps going back to. I think she goes back to it like 3 or 4 times across separate episodes, and like she's like a Victorian housemaiden in it. I think she's like a tutor or something like that. And they don't really fit in the episode, and like it's often very much forgotten.
Things up then?
Probably because like there's been a few holodeck things throughout the show. The holo novel stuff was separate from what you're thinking of, which came later in the series. Because Jerry Taylor's tenure finished, I think she left season 3 or something like that. And then and after that they brought in like 7 of 9, and they had all this stuff going on with that. But yeah, she isn't.
Also, there's a point in the. Sorry, go ahead.
She isn't the one that had to do with the Irish town.
Oh, okay. So is delete the wife from the Irish town or the Victorian holo
No,
novel?
that's from the Irish town. You were right on the reference.
Oh, okay. And at a certain point in the series, Dory, like, hologram Da Vinci becomes her like mentor. Like she goes to the holodeck.
Yep.
Consult
That's
with
another
Da
weird one.
Vinci.
That comes back several episodes.
Honestly, here's the thing. Because Data has gone back to like other famous scientists or whatever, that doesn't faze me at all.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, sorry. So that was just my little like soapbox thing about like the
No. I also just want to add is like it's not my thing. It's not something I enjoy reading, but I don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
Yeah.
So
it's
my extreme reaction to this episode. It's not for me.
Yeah.
But no disrespect if you do enjoy these aspects of it.
And I think that's fair. That's why I don't think an episode of Star Trek is necessarily a great place for it, because it's like a general audience sort of show. Like,
yeah.
if you're into bodice rippers and like sort of the more like, you know, blurry lined sort of genre, then like you know what you're getting into when you like pick up those books, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not my bag. But the thing that honestly to me is one of the craziest bits is that this guy has fucked every woman in her family.
Yeah.
So she has now fucked a guy who fucked her grandma.
Yeah. And great grandma and great great grandma.
Yeah. Like, to me, that is wild.
Yeah.
That is nuts. That, like, they could have done so many different things with this. But the fact that they're like, hey, let's keep fucking Ronan in the family.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't. Because even Dr. C makes a joke. She's like, oh, it's the family tradition, I guess. I'm like, maybe break this. I think it's great that you broke this tradition, because
I think this is definitely a
bad.
generational trauma you should do away with.
Let's.
And also interesting that her mom never got involved with him. But I guess
well, I'm assuming because maybe her mom died.
Yeah.
Because her mom died when she was young, so maybe she never had a chance. I don't want to say chance, because that's good that she didn't.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, I
maybe
guess she
because
passed away
she
too
just
young.
wasn't in the position to pass on the candle to. There wouldn't be a reason if Nana was still alive. You wouldn't pass the candle on to the mom yet. So when the mom died, so the candle automatically then goes to Dr. C. So that's probably why, is because Nana lived
long
till
enough.
100.
Yeah, because I guess
So-
he attaches to one woman until
I did want to point out something
moves
that
on.
Crazy Ned said earlier when he was like, oh yeah, if you don't destroy the candle, it'll be the death of you. And I'm just like, her grandmother lived to 100. I feel like she did all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's the average age in Star Trek? Like I feel like it's at
that's
least
inconsistent.
150, right?
Like this episode, I'm pretty sure Jerry
Mm-hmm.
Taylor basically just forgot that, because it's not described as like she died suddenly or she died young or anything like that. It's like, yeah, it sucks, but she was old. Like that seems to be the attitude that everybody has. But yes, when Star Trek is going for a more like sci-fi thing, ages like past 120 are a lot more common.
Yeah. I guess that's also what I was gonna ask, is that like, okay, obviously he was doing something negative to them because he was influencing them romantically. But what negative effect has he actually had?
I was thinking about that because I was also initially once I realized, oh, Ronan's like the one who they're all talking to. I thought then maybe was he like, I thought he was trying to kill them.
Yeah.
To like suck up their energy. But then I was like, well, how long would have he had to be with Nana for? And does that, but then when I realized, oh, he like, I think in earnest, like loves these women and is just like, it's not so much he's sucking the life out of them, is he's, I'll use this word for Jeff, entering
Yeah.
them. And so it does seem like he doesn't have, I don't know if he necessarily has malicious intent. I think the bad thing is the lack of consent.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that is, I don't know. This is just, to me, this feels so random.
Yeah, definitely.
It just feels like, yeah, he's not technically harming. Well, I guess he harms anyone that gets in his way.
Yeah.
Because he did fucking try to kill Picard, and he tried to kill Geordi and Data. And also, can we talk about how absolutely fucking terrifying it was when Grandma woke up?
Yes. Yeah, that was
freaky, horrifying.
Yeah.
The way that I gasped and then had to like pause afterwards, that was I was like, I'm not here for the horror movie of this. I already had a jump scare with this blonde man. I don't need a jump scare with a dead old lady too.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I let this lady rest in peace.
Yeah. That was very creepy.
Also, I don't know if maybe it was like his influence at but Dr. C really did not react to the fact of Picard being like, hey, let's exhume your grandma.
Yeah.
And she just is like, no reaction. And Ronan's like, no, don't do it.
Yeah, because you would have thought it would have made sense
why
for
would
her
it
to be
matter?
Yeah, because it would have made sense for her to be like, absolutely, you're not digging up my grandma, you know?
Yeah.
And that would have fed into like the, the negative influence he's having on her, right?
And also, why did it matter if they dug the grandma up? They would just find the with the residue, but that didn't mean anything. Like, it didn't change anything for him.
Yeah.
So that doesn't even make sense, like why he had such a strong reaction, unless this is him being like, no, she's my loved one. Like, I love her so much. Don't like bring her. But that doesn't seem like it. It felt like there was some kind of
that he was hiding. He was trying to hide evidence. Of
hide something,
yeah.
but there wasn't. He literally took her over and was like zombie grandma for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
It was so strange.
Yeah, it doesn't fully make sense to me, but whatever.
I mean, I know I have to leave some disbelief behind when it comes to Star Trek, but this just feels like kind of a gaping
Hole.
Pretty gaping hole, I agree.
Gaping plot hole.
Yeah.
I would like to
Yeah.
I would like to point
As
out
I was saying it, I was like, oh,
two
boy.
things about the episode that I found pretty amusing. One of them is that both Jerry Taylor, who wrote it, and Gates McFadden loved it. Yes. And actually watching it,
What?
I do think it's in the upper half of episodes this season. But there's been a lot of trash this season, so there's that. Rather a lot of boring this season. I was never bored by this episode.
Yeah.
I was offended by the ending, but I wasn't bored by it. And the ending is something I would like to bring up, which I think is very important, and that's that a man does not come and save the day.
So sorry, you're saying that's bad, or that's an aspect?
No,
you
I'm
like?
saying that's good.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's good.
Just because earlier you said
the...
you didn't like the ending, so.
Oh, I didn't like how they wrapped it up.
Oh.
The 1990s were not a time when a woman could, have a problem with a man in a TV show and not be saved by another man.
Mm-hmm. I actually do agree with you there, because that was something I was thinking at the end, that even though this plays into the trope of like, oh, woman gets easily tricked into doing whatever, but it is Dr. Crusher who saves herself in the end. She's like,
yes.
She's able to realize what's happening, and that's a sort of thing. Like, Picard comes to, like, help her or whatever, but he isn't the one that saves the day.
No, in fact, him getting injured is what's kind of what brings her back to her senses. Mm-hmm. And I think that just shows that the real connection that she has with someone is far more important to her once that real connection is actually in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because I'm fairly certain that what Jerry Taylor was intending with this was that there is like a supernatural sci-fi aspect to Ronan, where he is actually like influencing her in ways that aren't really told very well, because the way that the episode makes it out is that he basically just made her come real good, and therefore she was into it, which obviously is not the case because she was acting incredibly out of character. But they don't really go into covering that that's happening other than showing it happening. Like they don't explain, like Ronan doesn't explain having any kind of influence. She doesn't talk about him having this influence on her and like trying to like throw her life away just so that he could survive and all of that. and I get it. They don't have to deal with that problem either. It's just, I think it would have gone further into giving the whole episode more legitimacy because it seems less like it's, a trashy romance novel.
Yeah, I think, personally, I think they didn't lean into the trashy romance of it enough to be able to, like, get away with what they were doing.
I think I agree with that. I mean, Ronan, you don't even really start to get to know until 28 minutes into the episode. That is a lot.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like him and Dr. C had no chemistry.
No, they really didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't.
And, like, I think, at least in my opinion, for me, the main issues with the episode is basically, like, it's a different time now. Like,
yes.
The view of consent and everything is, like, much more, like, it was, like, it was always, like, sort of dubious consent, but it was, like, a lot more normalized back then, and now we, like, sort of the mainstream view of it has changed a lot in the preceding decades. But like I said before, I think if they had made this, like, even more of a trashy romance story, it would have played a lot better. Like, I would be like, okay, these are the references they're making and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Even if you don't like those references, it's just like, okay, I see what they're doing. I still don't think it's, like, the greatest place to sort of do it in a general audience show. I think you have to be very, like, the media to do that is something where that's already sort of like, okay, we know this is what's going to happen in this. Mm-hmm. Sort of deal.
Like, I think if they wanted to do the, like, romance novel tropes, they should have done it in the holodeck.
Yeah.
This is, like, this is a weird place to choose, because I think they could do it in the holodeck, but, like,
they do end up doing it in,
I
like,
think
Voyager and stuff.
But, like, here, I just think in the context of, like, a funeral, and having a guy just plow his way through her family is really fucking weird.
Yeah, and I think they could have gotten away with it if they sort of even played into more of, like, the scenario that Troy described, where it was like it's like two grieving people, sort of like
they just trauma bond together.
Yeah, trauma bond together. Although now that I think about it, I feel like that would be even more slimy. Take advantage of her grief.
I don't love. Listen, I feel like trauma bonding with friends is great, but trauma bonding with a partner, ooh, no. No, go to therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone go to therapy. We've talked about this. Everyone just go to therapy. Period.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's another case of, like, you're gonna do this weird, like, not weird, but, like, out of the box for the show genre episode. You gotta go all the way with it. And I think they could have gotten away with what they were doing in the episode if they'd leaned more into the trashy romance of it. Yeah. It was a little too technical.
I think think the reason for that is probably because they were trying to go at, like, a halfway point where they could both entertained the Star Trek fans, and also that they could get the audience that they were trying to get for this particular kind of story, and, like, that like straddling the line there. No, just go full ham with it, and, like, expect that you'll lose them for a week.
They chickened out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't learned to go big or go home.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of all I have to say on the episode. It's really, like, it's not the best episode. It's not the worst episode. Like, for me, it doesn't inspire, like, any sort of extreme emotion. In general, like, if you want something in the background, it'll work. It's, like, has your attention enough. But yeah, that's it.
There is one more thing I wanted to say.
Like, other than the problematic tropes, it's not really that inspiring of an episode. All right, I think it's time to move on to favorite moments and lines.
I don't know that I have any. I'm just reading. I like that Troy and Dr. C had hung out. Mm-hmm. I don't like what they did in the hangouts because I don't think Troy was. I don't know. I don't like what they.
Yeah, I guess it was nice to have some more friendship stuff with them, but it wasn't really.
Yeah.
The content of the friendship stuff was not great.
I liked Picard reacting to 30s when he found out that her grandma was fucking a 30-year-old. Mm-hmm. And then Dr. C's like, oh, I hope that maybe I could find someone in their 30s. And he's just like, 30s?
Yeah. Well, I don't think how old is Dr. Crusher supposed to be? Like, I can't.
I would have guessed in her 40s.
Yeah. So someone in their 30s is not that
But she
wild.
says, no, but she says, I hope that I can find a handsome young man in his 30s when I've passed the century mark.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I liked the reaction to 30s. I liked...
At least that's a reasonable age. It's like if you make it to your 30s, it pretty much doesn't matter how much older the other person is. I feel like you're pretty much fully cooked at that point.
Yeah. I like the fog when they're like,
yeah,
when Riker's like, it just kind of rolled in. and I guess that's it. I did not like this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not like this episode.
I think that's very fair. I also don't particularly enjoy this episode. I also don't really have much of a favorite thing because the episode I thought this episode was going to be more fun, but I did not remember like how much creepier it is than I remembered it being. I guess as Jeff mentioned before, I like that it's Dr. Crusher saves herself and she's the one that ends the curse and all that stuff, so to speak. But that's really it. Yeah, there's nothing else that super stands out to me that I that I specifically enjoyed.
Crusher's final what do you call it? Final interaction with Ronan. Actually, her delivery on that is fucking fantastic. And I see why, as an actress, she would really like having done this episode.
Yeah.
It's too bad that...
Yeah, she definitely had, like, a lot more to do in this episode.
Yes, she did. She did. And, like, as an actress, I could see going into doing this episode and just being like, yeah, man, there is so much that I got to do. But she also, like, when she talked about this, and this is something that's very important because, like, a lot of Star Trek in general is kind of looked back retroactively and like judged from a different point of view than it was back then. Episodes that are considered landmarks were not necessarily considered landmarks in quite the same way back then, or even for the same reasons. And when they're asked about it now, they might look back on it with their opinion having been colored by, years of people talking about it and them thinking over it just from watching it rather than just remembering their experiences on it. But in this one's case, all of the info that I'm giving you on it was like within a couple of years of the episode. So they were talking about it positively as something they had done recently.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm glad that Gates McFadden is happy with this.
We don't know if she still is.
Was happy. Okay. Well, I'm glad she was happy with it, I guess. But I think this part of my issue is this falls into the same problem with Troy. Is like, why does their stories have to be so focused on men and romance? Why? Like, what if the ghost wasn't trying to fuck her?
Yeah.
But like that's the one thing I want more for Dr. C the same way I want more for Troy. And I don't know if this is the last Dr. C episode, but based on how sparse Dr. C episodes are, I'm going to assume this is the last one, which is a really big bummer. I just want more for her. I think she's a really incredible character. And I would hate for this to be like a last showing for her.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hold my breath. I know better now.
Yeah, I think this is the last one that's specifically focused on her. But I think she does get I can't remember. I think she gets some good stuff.
It is the last
later.
one that is specifically focused on her. That's not a spoiler. However, yes, she absolutely gets
She gets more to do later?
Oh, she gets better than that. You'll like it.
Yay. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. I won't set my expectations high, though, just to be safe.
Don't. I think that you'll like what eventually happens to her, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Like, it's good stuff.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
All right, so let's move on to predictions for the next episode.
Okay.
So the next episode is called Lower Decks. And how do I describe this episode? So we get to see a sort of, your tidbit is sort of, we get to see sort of a standard episode of Star Trek, but from a from a different perspective. From a perspective of
the AV Club, the AV team. No,
yeah. But we get to see it from a perspective of characters that are not our main characters.
Okay. Actually, that's so funny. Mm-hmm. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm pretty psyched for that then. Because I love the idea.
If you want to take a guess, the clue is in the title.
Oh, Lower Decks. Oh, yeah, so I'm going to assume no officers, no one anywhere near the bridge. So it'll be like a bunch of randos. Mm-hmm. I'm down for that, honestly, because like there is a certain degree of this where like when big shit is going on that like the whole ship has to deal with, but it's so centered on one person. I'm dying for someone to be like, you guys ever think it's so weird how like so many aliens want to fight Picard?
They make jokes about that in the Lower Decks cartoon that ran for 5 seasons actually, because that one's all about a bunch of like ensigns on like a rando junkie ship, like one of the least popular ships in the Federation, and
I think you showed me an episode of the show one time.
Okay.
Well,
I think yeah. I think they were like popping around to a bunch of places or something.
Well, the show is directly inspired by this episode, which is why it has the same name.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so what am I predicting then?
I guess like, okay, whose perspective do you think this is from? And what like
Oh, it's one person or it's multiple people?
I guess that's up to you. And then this is a very like
Alexander's teacher.
And then the sort of plot that happens around them is a very like I would say like a fairly like tropey, not tropey, but it's like it's a very generic episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, but because it's from a different perspective, we like see it in a new way.
Okay. So maybe
So yeah, think of whose perspective is this from, and a stereotypical plot line.
No, I'm kidding. I would hate that. Okay. Ideally, I'd like to like have like some tidbits from a bunch of people, like maybe 3. But I am gonna now assume that it's maybe just one, and based on proximity to like still a storyline, my guess would maybe be either like an ensign in engineering, or I would love it if it's like a bartender at 10 Forward. Like people just coming into 10 Forward and the bartender or like wait staff just having to overhear all this stuff, and like them being like, okay, so should we be worried about that? And because like they just talk about so much personal stuff in 10 Forward that I imagine other people will hear them at some point. Okay, so yeah, I'm probably so wrong, but I want to pick someone in 10 Forward staff. Because I think that would be, it is a place where like so many of the crew go to. And I feel like we kind of never get like other than Guinan, who, long time. It's been the hottest of minutes. I hope we see Guinan before the show ends, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I genuinely can't remember.
But I'm not gonna assume.
Yeah, I genuinely can't remember if you do or not.
So I maybe then I don't know in terms of a story. Maybe someone is like,
yeah, so okay, so you picked like a 10 Forward staff member, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's what I'm going with. I'm sure I'm wrong,
yeah.
but that's what I want to go with.
So think about like what kind of story would you want to see from the perspective of a bartender? That would happen on the ship.
I mean, realistically, you want some hot goss about like romance stuff, but I don't want that in this case. Honestly, this show is really starting to turn me off of any romantic plots.
Yeah, Star Trek can't
because
be
I'm
trusted
really
with romance.
Yeah, I've been getting fucked and not in the good way. So okay. I like an idea of like maybe there's something like maybe like not a crystalline entity, but something that you can see through the windows, because because you can see out the windows in 10 Forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or am I fully making that up?
No,
Okay.
you can. Like, there's
so
a whole wall that's just windows.
So maybe it's something where like they spot this thing first from someone. They're just like hanging out, making a drink, and they notice from the window, because the bar faces towards the window, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, what the fuck's that? And then they reach out to whoever, and then they tell the bridge and they investigate, and maybe like they go to reach out to whatever this like, maybe it's a ship. Maybe they see like a ship floating through space and they're like, oh, let's go check it out. And then maybe it's a trap or some shit, and like maybe a way that or maybe something with the Enterprise not breaks down, but I don't know, maybe they need some kind of accelerant and they're like, hey, we've got lots of alcohol.
Yeah. So is it like a thing where like
I don't know.
Is it like a thing where, you know, they see this like, you know, they see this concerning thing in the distance and they keep getting closer and closer, and like as the bartender you're not in the loop, so you just have to deal with, oh, we keep getting closer to this thing, I don't know what to do.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I think that they see it, they let the bridge crew know. And then maybe there's like a fight that they're watching from the window where they're firing at each other or some shit, and maybe people like transport onto the Enterprise like into 10 Forward, and I don't know, they use their menu for good. I don't know. All right.
I'll let you off the hook for that.
Yeah, I don't have a lot for this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, neither does the
show.
That's sort of the plot of the episode, is like you don't have a lot to work off of.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so if you want to see if Dory's correct, watch along with us and join us for the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.